Good time.
Well, you didn't have Taupio Ashkaro Metro?
No,
Why did you not have a good time?
I didn't go hard, to be honest. I just
Oh, yeah, you were saying this. You're talking about
You're
how
getting old,
Americans
man.
are.
Yeah, what
You,
happened there?
you know, Raju? No, but Raju was talking about he's like Americans are at this phase where they're like doubling down on their stereotype of a brown guy on
yeah,
the
they're like,
Punjabi tropes.
I'm walking into a tequila shop. I was like, what the fuck? No, thank you. And they're like, yo, you're from Brampton, bro. Like, I was like, yeah.
You got to wear the label now, Brampton.
I was like, yeah. And
They're
I
like,
don't want to. I don't want to pound tequila.
what do you mean? You're not a Brampton fuckboy?
They're like, yo, this is 1942. And I was like, shit. Like, okay, expensive tequila. I'm not pounding it. You know?
Yo, why is liquor like that? Where the older it is, the better it is.
No, 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 no. That's the
It's not.
name of the company.
It's
Oh, the
not.
company's nine. Okay, but they do that with
No, but
wine, right? Like
well, they
it's
do
all
it with
based on its
whiskey
age.
because it's based on the rarity. So let's say you take a whiskey and you have to naturally age it in caskets. So if you have one that's 10 years, and the only main difference is that when you go from like a 10-year to a 20-year, 25-year, whatever you want to call it, is due to the evaporation within the barrel, there's less quantity. So therefore it's more expensive. So that's why these higher year age barrels are a lot more expensive. What the general population does, they equate that aging process to a higher taste profile or, something that tastes much better when it doesn't generally mean that.
No,
So
So
it
but
doesn't taste better.
no,
but
it could. But
no,
I mean, there's no,
no.
the main thing is the aging process, but the reason is there's just less quantity when you go from a 10-year to an 18-year. That's all it is, right? So that's the main reason. That's what they taught us at the distillery in Scotland.
I like how you're the guy. You're
Had a
the
good.
guy who goes to tour shops and like listens to
And I
everything.
listen.
And I
So
remember I
yeah,
was.
that's. I mean, I'm sure there's difference in taste and stuff, but what they kind of basically got to, they're like, if you like a 10-year-old and you like the taste, you like the taste, right? The years don't really matter. It's more of a
Preference.
no. What's when you're like, oh, I'm drinking 18, like and if a person never drinks whiskey, it's more like what's the not showing off. What's the
Facetious.
no, yeah, it's like
Pompous.
yeah, it's show off.
Pretentious. It's a
Yeah,
bitch
pretentious,
person.
whatever it is, right? Um, that's kind of comes with that, especially in Desis now, man. The single malts, people are just like, oh, look at my this on their Instagram.
You know what
No,
the
single
best?
malts compared to blends. Come on,
You know what the
there's
most
a
cringiest
difference.
thing is?
No,
Is
that
I
fair,
saw this on my
fair.
Instagram. Is the
Just talking? What's the show about? It's about nothing. It's about nothing.
Just want these guys to know you got another thing coming, bitch. I'm still around.
shot? It's like the liquor bottle juggo, like the Bacardi juggo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember Twitter, someone posted it, like flexing it, and then Punjabi Twitter is like sick. Twitter just like eats that shit up, and they like made the person delete the tweet, and I think the person even deleted their Twitter account because of it, because she was just
Why?
getting trolled to hell for like that post she made. She posted a video of their like Bacardi jungle, and she's like, "This is so lit," and everyone just started mocking her and making fun of her, and then she's like, "Oh,
Why did the sick Twitter go after her?
like yo, this is what you guys celebrate? You think this is cool? You're fucking lame as hell," type of shit.
Like pushing like drinking culture is kind of toxic too, right?
Yeah, but that's not religious.
No, it
The
might not be
whole
religious,
No, but
but
it's
it's,
a it's a it's a place where you get shit on someone and bully someone.
yeah,
yeah, fair
they
enough.
got they bullied the hell out of this person for
Yeah.
trying to flex on something. Like, you really think this is cool? You think this is what like this ain't
Yeah.
the flex you want
It's like a
think it
kid
is?
coming to school on first day of school wearing like really nice clothes and has like some kid who has no confidence. All of a sudden they have a sense of confidence and you go out and destroy it. You need to tell him how stupid he looks. You
Like
destroy it.
I got my new look, I got my new clothes.
On the
Here comes
kicks.
Ranjit.
He always
He
look he's
was
wearing his dad shoes, bro.
yo. School is
Oh
vicious like that.
man.
I remember going to international clothiers one time and thinking, yo, I got some nice ass shit. Get
Yeah.
to school, everyone's like, yo, you're rocking international? The fuck is wrong with you? You poor? I was like, Like I got shot down. So international
Yeah,
clothing suits too.
at one point, international clothing. I mean, in Malton, everyone was wearing exhaust jeans at one point. So I remember those days, or stitches. No, stitches, stitches,
Stitches. Yeah.
stitches, stitches. Right. So I mean,
Yeah, so
yeah,
me coming in
we
a
grew
year
up in
later, I think.
we did grow up in that era where like brand names with Nike coming in and like the sporting wear with their logos. So the rich kids all got it first, and then the rest of us just had to
I don't
wait
know.
till it
Do you
was
think
like
that's still a
s'il vous
thing
plaît, just
where
s'il
people
vous
check
plaît.
labels? Like I remember it was a big thing growing up for me, like in high school. People were like, "Yo, let me check the
Is that
label."
real or is it fake?
The
Yeah.
real.
Yeah,
Yo, it was so messed up. Remember, people had the Nike check mark on their decal on the back of windows of cars.
they still
That's how
do,
bad.
man.
I haven't seen
Ramals. Ramals. I had a Nike Ramal.
it.
There's a dude driving around on my street. He has a freaking OVO logo on his car. I was like, "Why?"
I've seen the Gucci snakes. That's my favorite. The Gucci snakes is on a car. So
I don't know, man. People take this brand shit way. Like I thought they took it way too serious back then. I can only imagine it's just tenfold now.
It's worse now. Everybody's trying to stunt, right? 'Cause especially dawn of IG and
You know,
Facebook and all that shit.
you know what's even more fucked is now people found a way to stunt on Twitter. Like because we're so social media esque, everyone started flaunting their NFT shit. NFTs were a flop, man. They're like, look how much money I just spent on this
spent
avatar.
on yeah.
All these useless things that you can't
That
even think about. Yeah.
the world is all about being. It's all about flexing.
I mean, that's
And
in good times, right? It's when economic times are good. We'll see this
Yeah.
year. We're gonna see in another few. I can't wait till these.
Who's still flexing?
Yeah,
Exactly.
we'll see. Yeah,
we'll
I
see who
hope
pulls up.
everybody is. No, I hope success for everybody. But I mean, I think you're gonna see
Yo,
a lot toned
This is
down.
when
where
you
me
when you see G wagons at no frills,
see. This is where you and me differ. Robbie's like, I want everyone to be successful, and I just want the world. I'm like, fuck, I want to see the world burn. I want all you guys who thought you
No,
were the shit to
I
like.
feel like I feel I'm kind of like the emperor. I have one side saying, "Oh, kumbaya, everybody." Yeah, on the other side, there's a darkness.
I'm all like, yo,
I'm with you.
if I'm in the mud, y'all getting dirty with me. Get down here,
It's
man.
no the bragging. Yeah, the logo stuff's weird, right? It's like if you think about it, you're just bragging about putting someone else's last name on your body. That's what
yeah,
it is,
and
right? I
you're
mean,
not getting
it's
paid for it. You're not
you're
getting
not getting
paid for
paid
Yeah.
it.
for it. It's
Yeah.
it's a bit, but yeah, man, to each his own, you know.
Man, it was the worst for me. There was this brand called NYC, ENYCE,
Yeah,
Hmm.
okay.
and I had a tracksuit and I went to school. I was like, yo, I'm copping that Nietzsche. I got destroyed. I got destroyed.
Yo, remember tracksuits? Like at
Yeah,
one
the
point,
velour
tracksuits were all the
tracksuit.
rage.
Windbreakers, the
Yeah,
windbreakers,
windbreakers. Yeah,
the
man.
No,
Bindi Johal tracksuit.
Yeah.
I had the velour ones, man. That was a little bit after, but
Whatever we got at the flea market, that's all we really had. So
yeah.
But yo, those were in because I was watching old Seinfeld episodes and they were rocking it on Seinfeld. So I'm like, yo, this was legit. The old mafia shows, everyone was rocking windbreakers.
yeah, did you guys ever go to the 747 flea market?
Time.
Steel when you
Yeah,
were
I lived
kids, yeah,
there,
it was a huge
buddy.
thing, man. Yeah,
I knew my way
it
around. I
was.
can still tell you which way to get to the video game guys.
It's closed now though, right? I think.
No, it's still open.
It's still around. It's just not as big popular. I feel like a lot of the Facebook marketplaces, the Kijijis, they gave these
Yeah, I
guys a
mean,
way to
fair enough.
operate
Yeah.
outside of it. That if you're looking for something, you
That
can get
and
it
Amazon.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Dude. Yeah. I just
Forgot
remember the
about the
video game
video games.
guys.
Yeah, video game guys. I forgot about that. No, I used to get the comic. I don't know if you guys got comic. There was comic book guys as well. Comic books and comic book cards and
I bought cards
trading
from there.
cards and there's a bunch of different stuff. Yeah.
Buddy who had the video game installer, so I'd go check them
Yeah.
out.
Irfan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was the guy, man. This guy had all the freaking games. Like
His younger brother is my guy, but yeah, him too.
I just remember, and I remember going to school with them. But if I showed up at the flea market, they would never acted like they knew who I was. Like, buddy, you go to Turner. I see you all the time. Like, but they at the flea market, they were the shit. Like, they were the coolest motherfuckers alive. So they're like, we don't know you. All right, but talking about cool guys, you guys see what happened with Andrew Tate?
So I actually only heard about him last week, and I knew he's getting a lot of backlash. So Andrew Tate's this like misogynistic guy. I saw some clip of him saying he wouldn't give CPR to a guy because that's gay, and yeah, like he does. He's like his brand is this kind of fucking macho bravado shit. And if he's doing this for so long, my question is, what did he do to piss off everyone so much that all of a sudden there's a huge backlash?
Yeah, that's a good
So
question. Yeah.
so he's been on my social feed a little longer just because I'm in like that whole gaming niche thing,
Right.
and he got really picked up by like certain gamers would like bring him on their streams and like really boost him, like bigger streamers, and they're like, yo, this, and the problem was they were like, the introducing him to 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds going into grade 6, and those kids loved him. Like they swore by this motherfucker. Like, yo, you see what Andrew Tate? Yo, watch this clip. And what's really problematic about it, at first it was just kind of like, oh, no, he's playing a character, and then as his stuff went up the food chain of people and like who's analyzing and seeing it, and the older guys hear him and they're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Hold on, he said what? Hold on. And then he started getting more attention until mature, like this one guy saw his thing and he did a whole little YouTube video on him last week, just talking about, hey, this is the guy that all the kids right now are raving about and latching onto. This is what he said. And they're like bringing out his history, like, yo, this guy beats his women and says that men should be
He
able to
actually
beat.
does, or he just
Yeah.
says shit?
No, like he had a case from before about it, and then when
Oh,
asked about it on podcast, he's like, which guy doesn't? He's like, of course you should. He's like, your woman needs to know that you're the man. She's like, no woman wants to be with a guy who's too soft to hit her. He's like, women want that from you, and they're like digging out his
He's
old.
like one of those guys that says shit, but like it's just like all bravado and bullshit. He
Yeah,
actually
so that's what
doesn't-
everyone thought. But then these guys started like really pulling up past videos. Like he was on Big Brother, and he got kicked off that because he was like really, really toxic to a girl. And then this one YouTuber was like, "Yeah, I've talked to girls who've come forward saying, yo, he's pretty violent." And he was like on another podcast where someone's like, they say this, and he's like backing up, like, "Yeah, I'm about it." And then yeah, so YouTube or not YouTube, but Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all kind of preemptively said, yeah, stop sharing his shit on here. We're not giving him a platform on here. He makes it sound like he doesn't even care. He's like, I don't even need those platforms. I've made it. And he was selling like a pyramid scheme business plan, like one of those YouTube things, courses, like, let me teach you how to trade stocks and become a millionaire because I'm a millionaire. So he was doing that shit. I don't know, man. It's a weird world and part of me thinks this is like a complete reaction. You know how we say the far left really dominates our thinking, the wokeness, the woke culture, the cancel culture, all that. And he was kind of like a voice of like, I don't give a fuck if you guys cancel me. I'm openly saying this stuff, that people like gravitated towards that and wanted to really boost it, I guess, to a degree. Or
Is
like
so
he became
what?
an
Now is he
attractive
on?
option of it.
Now is he what on Truth Social? Like, what's he doing now?
I mean, he's like, I didn't even know they canceled me because I don't use social media because I'm a real man. I'm an OG. We don't use that shit. We're busy, grabbing bitches
He
type
can't be
thing.
that big. I actually sent a clip of Sanjay Dutt today. I saw a pretty funny meme
Yeah.
of him. You saw that?
Yeah,
I saw that too.
I retweeted it,
video?
man. I retweet the
Oh,
shit.
you
You
don't?
guys
Oh,
like,
okay, okay, okay.
you guys like,
I think I saw
some.
it. I think I saw it in this feed.
And then yeah. So I sent that. So just so everybody who is listening knows, there's a clip of Sanjay Dutt, old badass Bollywood guy, talking about how feminine some men have become in India, wearing like pink shirts and like long hair, etc., etc. And there's a reference to Andrew Tate there, and her response was, "Who's Andrew Tate?" So I don't think he's like that big. Of course, like she's a bit out of it, but it's kind of like a bellwether for me.
I think he's having his 15 minutes.
I think
Yeah,
he's big
I-
in a demographic. Like he's big for that teenage demographic, like the high
Man,
schoolers.
he's kind of says the right things, and a certain population latches on. I mean, Trump did the same thing with a particular group of the population, and they love him for it, and that's what it is. The problem is, yeah, like you highlighted, if it's the younger generations being so influenced by it, that's quite concerning, which is the case with most social media, to be honest with you. But you know,
So is it fair to say like the left is what it is? Like you get canceled all the time, but on the right, can you get canceled on the right side?
What do you mean by like right wing people canceling the right?
Yeah, right wing people canceling out right wing guys.
I feel like the right's really, really scared to do that. Because
Yeah, because
look,
But I think if you're like
at
right,
one point, like Trump could do no wrong. Like he's not going to get
yeah, but
canceled for
but they kept
whatever.
trying to cancel him. Like the right guy, like the other conservatives were like, "Yeah, we don't like it," but then he kept winning. So like, fuck. At some point, we just gotta ride this wave
no,
with
but
him.
if you look at Liz Cheney, who's obviously a Republican, right? But anytime she goes against Trump, people make her like a leftist. So that's the risk you run, being on the right, trying to
Be
cancel or do
reasonable.
something. Yeah, be reasonable. Is that they automatically then push you to the left? They've gone so far right that if you don't agree, you're just a leftist. That's all it is, right? So
And I only bring this up because another thing I was going to talk about is PP Pierre. Our buddy met with a far right, group in Canada. They're neo Nazis, and there's a picture of him handshaking their leader a few days ago. His defense to this is the media is publicizing his handshake when they should not be focusing on it whatsoever. It's a weird take to have, but have we got to that point where now we're totally polarized, like the states and like PP can do no wrong, like no one's gonna call him out for openly embracing neo Nazis.
no,
I
with
mean,
that, what he did there makes me think that he even in a mistake, he won't admit a mistake. Like, you know what? Trump, when it was David Dusta, he's like, I don't know who David Duke is. That was even though he knew who he was, he's like, I don't know who that is. As in, like, claiming ignorance. PP is basically saying, oh, I can do what I want, right? And that's the weird thing with him. He's not even saying he was wrong or I didn't know who they were or they weren't vetted. I don't see the like he could have easily done that, but he's basically saying, oh, I can. You guys are focused on the wrong thing. That's
Yeah,
strange, right?
like
You know,
he can't really backtrack because if he takes a step back,
Yeah, he could
then
have
that
he could have just been
destabilizes
like
the base.
he could have been
Like,
like I shake people's hands all the time. They came in for a meeting. I wasn't aware of their background. Next time people need to be vetted a little bit more, and that's it. That's the end of it. But because he's doing the same thing Trump did, where he doesn't want to lose that vote or lose the people that are inclined to think like that, and he likes gaslighting, if you will. He's not going to, and that's always my concerning thing with him, that he just doesn't come and say, "Oh no, I don't agree with him." Simple as that. But it's PP. He's
you
Schindler's
think
boy.
you think
yeah,
politics
and
means,
those boy.
but I mean, conservatives generally were fighting against him and saying, "Look, don't vote for him because he won't get elected. Here's Sure, or here's Brown, or here's someone else that you can vote for who's more of a moderate conservative." Uh, I mean, I feel like conservatives try to be reasonable, and I mean, I vote conservative all the time, so it's kind of like, look, I don't agree with all conservatives. A lot of them are dumbasses, but the policies they push sometimes that outweighs. And I know the I don't want to call them leftists because I feel like when we start defining people as leftists or rightists, a lot of us, like even a lot of people I know who are leftists, they're not leftists. They're just progressives. They're not as like stuck on certain ideals. Um, but
Well,
at
I
the same
mean,
time,
what is left? I mean, now there's just two ends of a spectrum. You can't even say you're a centrist. There's no such thing.
yeah,
That
because
doesn't exist anymore. You have to pick, right?
as soon as you take a position that aligns one way or the other, but like in Canada, most conservatives have accepted homosexuality. Like I remember last time they're like, we're not even opening this can up. But in America, like the right is considered anti or super homophobic and all that kind of stuff. Where in Canada, I feel like the right, like Pierre, if you asked him like, what do you feel about same-sex marriage, he wouldn't bring it up. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Like
Yeah,
I
but
feel
it's a
like
slippery slope
Canada's.
now, right? Like, look, the states has in recent weeks opened up the debate on or reshaped the conversation around abortion.
Personally.
Mhm.
After that was done, they have now gone after same-sex marriages. Like that's being questioned, that's being raised. So
Mhm.
by next election, there might be, a
Something else, yeah.
Supreme Court that will be pushing to overturn that decision, and a huge swell from the right looking to turn that over. Once that, something that was safe, was accepted, was, a more of society that we're not going to question this. It's all accepted, It's
And
trite.
also,
It's trite now.
I,
It's no longer trite.
I think,
It's become fresh debate.
and I think in Canada, excuse me, for most of these political parties, that's just a topic. Even the conservatives, like there's no point in putting any energy into that because the majority of the country does not sign with
Because
the other view. So why
yeah,
would we even, until, if in America might be a little bit more um, segregated in the thinking, if you will, and there is a space where a politician can, turn that screw and squeeze some votes out of it, they can. But in Canada, it's a non-issue. But
but it's an issue
if
enough, like abortion thing. It comes up in like that's why
it,
Pierre
it,
won't
co- it
touch
comes
abortion,
up, but
right?
it's still a small
No,
percentage of
no,
the
it's a small
population, right?
percentage, but it's enough that when conservatives bring it up, it scares enough Canadians to go, fuck it. We don't trust these guys are too
Exactly.
right.
But that's why it doesn't serve them well when they talk about it.
Yeah.
They should just stay quiet, get their lines, and just keep. I mean, Andrew Scheer, that's same thing happened to him. It's happened numerous times. And when they get the question, it says like, you're going to be asked this question, this is going to come up. Have you not formulated it can even a scripted response that sounds semi-genuine, but every time they get proposed a question, they fumble or they say something incorrect or and the public goes, not this again, no,
It's
right? And
because they're
that's
so double-minded on these things. Because they're like,
no, even
dude,
if they are, look, they're politicians. Like, just learn how to get through that one question. That is your job at the end of the day, right? So
Your only job.
your only job, yeah. So for me, it surprises me they always drop the ball on those questions. They
talk
should
about
easily say the majority of Canadians do not agree that this is the topic at hand of today and it is not an important concern. We have other concerns such as the economy, and we'll put our focus there. And
look
everyone
at
goes, oh
this
yeah, I'm gonna
guy.
vote for
This guy
conservative.
right here sounds like he's a politician.
I'm not a
100%.
politician.
100%.
This guy sounds like he
I
should run for
I fashion
politics.
I fashion myself more like a Michelle or a Hillary.
Oh man, I guess let's just talk about it, boys. So we did
Yeah,
something stupid this
let's
week.
do it.
Yeah.
I did
So
something stupid. I've been having nothing but regrets. They're like talking to me and going through the ceremony, and it's a ceremony of like, do you agree to this or that, and doing the check mark thing. I'm like, oh, do I
All
really
right,
agree
wait,
with
wait, wait,
this?
wait. So,
Shinda
uh,
sounds like he's signing his wedding certificate.
No,
yeah.
no,
So
that was easier.
Shinda,
That the wedding
myself,
certificate
and
offered.
hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. So Shinda,
Give some
myself,
context. Yes.
and Robbie's wife.
Hold
Have
on. We're not allowed saying Robbie's wife. My wife lectured me to not say that. She's like, she's an independent woman who has her own name, recognize her name, and I was like, Mrs. Seiko, and then she laughed at me because I'm like,
yes.
yeah,
So for context, there's another trustee. Her name is Nurlip Seiko. She is Robbie's wife. She's
Nepal,
also
not
running as
Nepal.
well.
Nepal.
and they're like,
I know.
No.
Nepal.
Oh, my
I
bad.
think I know my wife's name. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Randy just turned to the computer as if he was going to search her name to prove me
You got it
wrong.
wrong.
That,
You got it
that's how
wrong.
that's how
It's
triggered
spelled
Randy
wrong.
is by me.
Spelled Nepal. Oh my god. Oh man. Anyways, Nepal, myself, and Shinda have signed up
Hold
to
on.
be
Full names. Full names.
Shajinder
myself.
Singh.
Oh
Yeah.
He
Not
uses
Shinda.
government name.
His
I had to use
government
my
name.
government name.
His
My
govy.
Govey's out there now. There's no taking that
Yeah.
back.
So we're running for trustee in different wards. I'm in 3-4. You guys are where?
2 and
1 in
6.
5.
You're 1-5, and yeah, you guys are 2 and
Nepal 2
6.
6. Yeah.
Why?
So-
Hold on. How did we get to this point? Literally, we made a joke on the podcast 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden we're actually here. I didn't
I
really
think
stop.
I think we're playing. We're doing our civic duty, playing a part of the Canadian political process. I think it's fine, Shinda.
It was
It's an
really
experience.
was-
There's nothing wrong. It's
it was really the fact that we shit on everyone in the government that we decided it's time that we go in there and try to clean things up and be
and
part of the
and
solution.
we can do it better. That's all it is. I don't know why I'm talking. I'm not running.
All right, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, no. Let's I mean, before we get down into all of it and what it all means, I mean, the process was kind of weird. I thought I'd literally like go to City Hall, pay my fee, get my forms, and then go home. But no, there's like it's quite the process.
How'd you feel when you
They-
got that giant textbook?
I was like, oh my god, I have so much reading to do, and why is this not in PDF and sent to me in an email? And after they handed me that big piece of, yeah, exactly. After they handed me that, they're like, you'll be getting a copy of this in your candidate portal. I was like, what? Why'd you kill a tree then?
You know what? When I started getting, when they're like, "All right, so make sure you go create a bank account for all your expenses," I was like, that sounds a lot more work.
That's
than
a lot
I-
of work.
Yeah, when the bank account thing really hit me, I was like, oh man,
Do I need to
I
get a
gotta
special
open a
account too?
bank account.
They're like, any expenditures you do need to go through your bank account. I
Like,
was
what
like,
am I spending money on?
yeah, I'm like, they're like, make sure your signs. And I'm like, I wasn't planning on doing signs,
Signs.
but
Yeah,
you know when it became real is when all the homies who are into politics, like we have a really tight political circle. I like to think it's political somebodies, people who have kingmakers, people who have gotten people elected, people who have been ministers, people who have been high up in certain parties. When they found out and they got like, hold up, you're running? All right, we got this. We're gonna get you to office. We're gonna start the machine. I got your sign order in. So what's your? We're gonna host your first fundraiser. How much money are we looking at? I was like, brother.
Shindo,
I don't-
Shindo was just relying on Twitter.
yeah. I'm gonna retweet myself.
Just
I'm gonna retweet
retweet.
myself 3 times, and the
That's
27 listeners here, I hope they have 27 like cousins in my writing that they can like refer.
I didn't
But,
think it was such a big political fight for school trustee. Like I thought, fine, there's people that want to do it, but I didn't think it was this intense political process that's made itself evident now. I thought it was just a name on a ballot, not like the councillors and the mayor and so on and so forth, right? It's always been a
I
Yeah,
think we excited some people who really want to see us succeed, and I
I
appreciate it.
yeah. I was just telling the boys just before we started recording, but I'll repeat the story here. I left City Hall and I thought, well, if I don't tell my parents, they'll be pretty pissed if they find out from someone else. I'll make that call. My chacha, my fuford, my daya. Like I call just the intimate close people that should know before they find out from other people. They got very excited. They are overly excited and they are pressuring me like crazy. Like what that lady said about the signs and bank account, these guys are already like, money, come take it. Like, whoa,
Let's-
relax.
They want to see that vote Dollywall sign going up all over the city by October,
That's
September
all they-
26th.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if we do like the mayors and the councillors. It's just signboards for school trustee all over Brampton.
I was like, yo, well, what? In my head,
So,
I'm
yo,
like,
yeah, school trustee goes hard in Brampton, bro.
And
Uh,
I mean, I'll just put out there the first thing that anybody says to me is Harkirit is a name that always gets dropped for doing a very effective but very big trustee campaign.
Sounds expensive.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
but Herkides was smart in that he leveraged that later to become city councilor too. Like he
Well, I
made
told
it
my
a
wife.
stepping stone.
I told my wife we'll print one sign and we'll put it at the entrance of the 410. Good to go. Good to go. That's more recognition that you need any lawn sign. Just one big 12-foot sign. We're good. It's a better investment than putting on everyone's lawns, right? And then having
Right.
the thing that people don't know about the lawn signs, it's fine and dandy putting them up, but you got to go pick them up after too, and that's a whole nother undertaking, which is horrible, right?
It's easy
And
to
no
pick
one-
up signs when you win. It's a really boring chore to do when you lose.
And who wants to do that? No one wants to do that. So
I mean,
Signs are,
honestly, I was just like, I'm gonna take out Google AdWords, put it up, and
Oh.
get Brampton. I'm gonna get a 30-second video that shows up on TikTok a week before
Make
the
that with
election.
me, please.
Yeah, let's just do it together.
Just put our name on too.
It's like change the homework. Let's use the exact same script. Look, man, we're in it now. And then the competitive juices are obviously I know are going to kick in when I realize Ranji's putting in work. Fuck that. I can't let him beat me. I got to get at
Yeah,
least
well,
two.
you guys, everybody keeps telling me I'm like running up against the super trustees. And I've already
Dude,
lost.
the best conversation I had about this, I was talking to someone in the know, and they're like, I was like, yo, man, I'm like, yo, I think Randy has a chance because, he's the only Dissy on his ballot. Dollywell's a prominent name. People are going to do that. They're like, fucking no, brother. Randy's getting smoked. You and Robbie, you and Mrs. Sake will have a chance. They're like, we're putting all our eggs in your basket. Randy's already shipped.
God.
You're down
No,
bad,
but
man.
hey, but if you take her down,
Yeah. Talk
Yeah,
about competitive juices.
yeah, that's the challenge, brother.
Yeah.
You take her down, you are, that's it. Champ is here.
Look at Randy's face as we talk about
Yeah, you
this.
got.
He's like,
I don't know if you guys.
assholes.
I don't know if you guys saw Leon Edwards, the Edwards fight. It was
Yeah.
fun. That's what Randy needs to do. Come on, Rocky, you can do it.
Randy needs
Last
that
minute.
leg kick. Holy shit,
Yeah, leg
brother.
kick.
Let's just talk about this fight real quick. I haven't watched UFC regularly in almost 5 years, just because kids, time changes. I just don't have time to keep up with the sport. So I haven't really watched Usman's reign, but everyone's like, he's way better than GSP. He's broken GSP's record. And in my head, it's like that LeBron versus Jordan thing. I'm like, nah, man, you guys didn't see Jordan in his prime. I saw every single one of GSP's fights live. You'll never be able to top that. And so I'm watching Usman, and he's dominating the shit out of this guy for 4.5 rounds.
More
To the
than
point
4.5.
where, yeah, 4 and 9 quarters.
4.7. Yeah,
9
basically.
quarters. But yeah, he's dominating the shit. And I was like watching this Edwards guy. I'm like, this guy doesn't want to be in this fight. His eyes, his body language was just like, well, I'm gonna get beat up again.
Yeah.
And when he landed that kick, I was like, I had to take a double take. Like, what the fuck?
I almost turned it off. It was the fourth round. I'm like, I'll just get the.
Fifth,
I'll
we're
see
in
the
the fifth
score.
now, right?
Yeah, I'm like, whatever, fourth or fifth. I'm like, it was done because he kept getting taken down. He looked like he was out of it. And then I'm like, yeah, whatever. I was doing something else on the computer, just watching. I'm like, and you just kind of like, what just happened? Right? It's like, oh, everyone's going crazy. I'm like, how did he do that? And you watch it again. It's like he came back to life in that one kick. Did a quick fake, kicked him, and that was it. Put his lights out. Great
It's force
fight though
wild.
to watch if no one's seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was asleep, so this is going over my head.
You really didn't even catch it?
No, I
Holy
was
smokes.
knocked out. I
Dude,
was knocked out.
This was weird for me because all my boys who I used to watch MMA with regularly, who are normally just really silent on fights because everyone's sleeping and old, we were all like ironically up on WhatsApp and on Twitter at the exact same time and watching the fight and all caught it and we're like, what the fuck? So it was like a throwback to our youth of 5 years back when we were like able to actually enjoy MMA.
Stay up, maybe we can get together and watch them all.
I don't know, man. It was a fun fight. But yeah, Ranji, that's what you got to do. You got to just come out, fix that body language a little bit and get in there and do that Rocky thing.
yeah, just 1-2 and to get it out.
Robbie, because he's getting fucking rocked. Done. Oh, man. I didn't even look up, like, you looked up how much she got last time. I don't even know who I'm going up against. So I could be totally ignorant. I could be going up
Yo,
against, like,
my guy only won by like 200 votes last time, so there's a shot.
Yeah, no. She won by 50%. She had 50% vote. She had 50% of the vote.
You
Herself.
can do it, man. Why are you doubting yourself? You can do it. You can
Oh,
do it.
hold on. I'm gonna give you your strategy because I have zero interest. No, actually, you told me. I'm gonna tell you what you gotta do. You gotta bring up the CC guys, get them to come out. They following your writing?
Yeah.
Get them to bring out all their little cousins because all their little cousins are voting age. I say they're little, but they're like 20-year-olds, right? All our COD lobbies are. I'll give you the mailing list for that COD Warzone tournament we did. I think half those guys are in your writing. Hit them up, be like, you motherfuckers gotta vote here. We gotta do this. All right.
Yo, no, man. How old is this lady? The one that
She's in her
She's much
50s.
older, man.
50s,
50?
60s.
Yo, you got a
late
kid,
50s.
man. You run on that. You're an actual parent in the writing.
Dude, I'm a parent coming out of a post-pandemic world where like education's being pushed online and in class.
There you go.
Huge
There you go.
debate. There's
Yeah.
always fucking
Throw some anti-vaccine in there,
Strikes.
anti-mask. You'll be good, man.
provincial government, school boards are always clashing. Dude, I'm a man of the people. I'm listening. I'm listening.
I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
I'm the trustee you can trust. vote Ranji Dhaliwal. Wards. What were your wards? 2-6?
Or
2-4?
or vote for the other lady.
Or vote for that lady. Clearly, she's been doing a good enough job that she gets 50% of the vote.
Yeah. Vote for status quo.
I mean,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
we should really petition for them to take off incumbent on the ballot. Because that way you got to really know the name and who you're voting for.
Oh, is that what's there? Incumbent?
It usually
Yeah.
shows incumbent, like in brackets, incumbent. It's kind of like if you're happy with stuff, just vote for this person again.
You know, I'd be think all you guys need is like one good viral video. If you got that up on Bremley Road, just something. Pretty good. Don't gotta do no door knocking, no sign. Everyone knows who you are. That's it.
Is municipal a door knocking thing? Like,
Yeah.
first of all, trustees should not be door knocking. Okay?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
It is, man. Look, it all comes down to if you don't have name recognition and you want people to know who you are, you got to get out there. That's how you got to not pull the vote. I'm from the pull the vote school of thought. Like, you got to get there. You got to just introduce yourself to people. You don't got to spend like 10 minutes talking to them and telling them how you're going to reform the education system. But you got to introduce yourself. You got to like let people know, hey, this is who I am. I'm going to be on that ballot. I'd appreciate you putting a little check mark beside me. And if they want to get to know you more, here's where you can learn more about me. Honestly, I feel like door knocking is the most effective way.
All about
in
door
city.
knocking, lid dropping.
I think it matters more so in a city election or a municipal election than it does in a federal. In federal, your leader debates, all that stuff is going to sway. The media is doing all the work for you. They're going to remind people 10 times who the main leaders are and what their party's platforms are. No MP, MPP has independent platforms of their party, right? All they can do is like remind people on the day of hey, make sure you come vote. But when it comes to city councilors, people don't know us. They're not going to hear about us. We might get
We're not
invited.
even city councilors.
No, not even. Yeah, we're not. Trustees don't even make it to the internet debates. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's debates for city school trustees?
or there's
No.
debates for city council and regional councilors.
No, I know that,
Right.
but I thought for school trustee, I'm like that's a weird one.
I don't know if there is because I don't think we're in a position to be making reforms.
God. Google this.
Uh,
Yeah, we're not.
We're not reformers of the system so much as we are conduits between parents and all I'm saying is it's intense. You gotta get real. Someone's like, yo, I'm gonna get you time on Desi radios. I'm like, Saleh, meri to Punjabi nahi, it's not even up there. You're gonna embarrass me to the point people are like, yo, ye to Punjabi ki vote wani hai.
Yo, but
Yo.
that is true though. If you do go on a Punjabi talk show or something, your Punjabi better be like at least of a certain par, right?
I'm not there, and I'm not gonna get there. That's my
and
fear, right?
and that's I think that's I
I'm better
commend you
off
for
trying to
that
go
more so
viral.
than just saying like, I'd rather just speak English. That's okay.
No, I'm not gonna go on there and speak English. I feel like that's more of a foot move.
There was a debate on an Indian TV show for wards 9, 10.
I mean,
school
yeah,
trustee.
War 910, of course. Everything goes big. War 910.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's
But,
blessed though? You see the
I could do the
list.
Punjabi thing.
You could do the Hindi
My-
thing
my
too.
My wife's
Okay.
Punjabi is
Tiered.
stellar, so I'm okay.
So I'm the only one
Yeah.
not showing up to this Punjabi radio. If you know what if we all go on together and
Together as a team?
you guys carry, and I'll just
smile in the
nod.
background?
Yeah, like I'm here too, Shajinder Singh.
As
And
long
we
as
vote
I'm
for-
in on your
No,
video,
no.
then yeah.
When they just go to you, what do you think? Hanji. Hanji. Thank you.
ਹਾਂਜੀ
Ji.
ਨਹੀਂ ਸਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ
ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ
ਸੀ
ਚੰਗਾ ਆ।
ਜ਼ਰੂਰ
ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਹੈ।
ਹਰ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਵੀ 10ਵੀਂ ਤੱਕ ਸੀਗਾ ਸਾਡਾ 10ਵੀਂ ਪਾਸ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ
Doesn't
There
even-
you go.
oh man
Anyways,
I'm in this weird place where I'm old and I don't like doing stuff and I'm now doing stuff. Fuck you guys. That's all I gotta say. The whole time when you guys are on my case, Shinda, did you go sign up? Shinda, did you go sign up? And I'm like, this is a time in life where I wish I could just be like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm a bitch. I ain't doing this shit.
You could have.
No, I can't.
Why
My
did-
ego
why
won't
did
let
you?
me because I'm a
Then
sucker
you're
for
not
peer
that-
pressure.
Then you're not that guy yet. You're not that guy.
I'm
Look, worst case scenario for me, like
Worst case scenario,
COVID
everybody
ended
loses.
before I was just on the grind working. This is forcing me to get out and talk to people again.
Worst case scenario is you promote the hell out of your law firm, and people now know who you are, and when they see it, your name, there's a bit
Hoping
of
people already know who I am. A little bit.
a little bit.
Mitterrand
Also,
Natalda. Mitterrand Natalda.
this is the
Already
reason why
buddy,
I
right?
of all the people, you guys won't believe just how connected Ranjit is. I can run into this motherfucker at the most random event, and everyone there will know him.
Nah.
You are the most connected out of us, I think.
Yeah.
Nah.
You
Let's
like
see.
talking.
Let's see.
You just like talking to
Yeah,
people.
I like talking. Yeah, I
buddy,
like talking. I like talking.
you have all of Moga. Get Moga involved.
I got Moga.
Moga is going to come out big. This isn't a Brampton election. This isn't a Ward 1-5 election or 2-6
Moga.
election.
Because Moga on his back.
This is Moga here. Moga meets. They better have like a big ass banner. Vote this kid.
I'm all about Moga. If I have to push Moga, then yeah, I'm gonna spend
But-
some money.
Buddy,
I'm gonna spend some money.
if you could get like Moga
Yo,
pizza
what if
to
she comes
deliver
out just as hard, yo? She's at like the Wabash sweet shop or something like that. And what?
Yo, my non-care do a bit too. I'll rip that.
You're like, I'm good on both sides. Oh,
Yeah.
brother. We're insane. But yeah, good
Yeah.
luck you both. I hope you guys both lose and I have more votes than both of you guys. Fuck you.
I'm not running.
yeah.
I'm not running. I'm just the
Well, look,
the
I'm not going to
I'm
say
the
that.
arm piece. What's
I'm not
what's the
gonna
arm piece? What is it called? I'm the pretty thing.
Andy,
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to chirp your wife.
Go
Let's
figure,
just be
go figure
real.
husband.
So I'm going to chirp
Oh,
you.
him? He's a doctor, but he's just there. Go stand in the corner, honey. Be pretty. There you
This
go.
guy shows up in his Stitcher
No,
jeans.
I love my wife.
Yeah.
This guy shows up in his Stitcher jeans and his like international suit.
Like, where'd you go to school? You don't want to know.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna be a fun
Anyways.
2 weeks.
Talking about being voted, I've been trying to get this segue in for the last 3 minutes. Lisa Laflamme, we still have to talk about her. She was
Lisa-
recently Laflamme, what's her name?
Um,
Laflamme. She was recently let go. She was voted off her island at CTV News, supposedly for many different reasons, but I think she was up for a contract renewal in 2 years after, I think, was it 30 years with the company? And supposedly it was for her gray hair. Supposedly. What do you guys think?
I don't watch CTV, but even I knew the name and to the point when I saw the tweet and the headline, I had to like Google her and like, oh yeah, her. Yeah, so I can't say I'm a fan or anything, but it's pretty crazy. I want to reserve my judgment because I have to believe that there must have been something that HR can hold on to do this, to justify, the abrupt not renewing your contract, rather than just like blink of an eye. Now she's old, kick her out.
Yeah, it must have been some kind of conflict on the
It can't. It
in the
can't
newsroom.
really
Yeah,
be,
yeah. It could
It can't be a
just been
gender
the hair.
thing. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the last 20, 30 years, it's the most iconic news anchors have been women nowadays.
Peter Mansbridge?
Like Peter Mansbridge aside, like CBC now, like Heather Hiscock, she's a brand household name now. She's been there forever.
Yeah, there's definitely a
She's
transition.
not young.
There's been a
She's
transition.
not young by any means.
But I mean the age.
And not that anybody,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care to have a young news anchor. She's iconic.
Especially with the hair coloring. I don't think that was the reason, but the fact that I think the CEO and president had made a comment. I think Lisa's take was that after COVID, she didn't care to dye her hair or something like that, and that's why she let it go gray. But clearly, there's other tensions. There must be to get to that point. But what a massive PR drop by Bell Media! Like whoever's
It is.
whoever's in control of that, man, this has been disastrous.
Hey, Bell,
right?
Bell, let's talk about this.
Bell, let's talk.
Honestly, I think it's for all the sinister reasons. Everything I've read is the guy and Lisa is a new guy came in, and then during COVID she stopped dyeing her hair. She didn't really ask permission to do it, I guess, but she's like whatever.
Permission, but even permission, like
Yeah.
the word.
But like
Yeah.
he insinuated like who let her do this.
Oh, okay.
And then apparently her and this senior producer, senior person, whoever, really butted heads all the time. Everyone's like, yeah, they used to like scrap about story ideas, and he'd want a story, and she's like, no, that story's dumb. Let's do this story instead. And he was like, no, no, this is the story we need to do for ratings. I don't know if you guys watched the morning show. It was a Apple
I did,
TV
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this
Great
stuff,
show.
this is a great show. Friggin' Rachel from Friends is on it. I know character names. I don't know actresses.
Jennifer
Jennifer
Aniston.
Aniston?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one you should
And
know.
Like I know her
what's
as
her name?
Rachel, man. Just allow
What's
it.
the other one? Reese Witherspoon, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Reese.
It had
And
Michael
what's his
Scott.
name from The Office? Michael Scott. No, that's not his real name. What's his real name?
Guys.
Oh man.
Oh, Steve
I know him
Carell.
as Michael.
Come on.
Thank you.
I know him as Michael Scott, right?
Michael Scott. The world's
I
best
know.
boss.
I know characters. I don't know actors names. But yeah, so it was a great show. But it had a lot of like reminiscence of that because that's all about like that
It's the inner politics of the news.
inner
the
politics.
newsroom.
Someone
Yeah.
getting old. We want to go younger. We need to hit a new demographic. That-
Even there were certain things like there was he's kind of all about money, the CTV guy, and it's like they want to do reporting for the Queen's Jubilee or whatever it is, and he said it was too expensive. Like he didn't want to send teams out there. And then there was something about like they were covering in Ukraine about getting like a certain hotel, and he was like denying, like just
No.
basically cost cutting left,
He
right,
was
and
trying to be
center.
really cheap. They're like, look,
Whereas
if we're going
in
to cover Ukraine, we need a backup hotel in Poland ready
Yeah,
in case
yeah.
we need to move our team there. And they're like, no, it'll be fine. It's not that serious of a war.
Whereas Whereas
Um,
these news people know how to produce quality news
News.
coverage, where this guy is trying to do it from a budget standpoint. I mean, that happens in a lot of corporations
Someone
or
new
any kind
comes
of
in.
product being produced. Someone comes in, they just cut corners, and you do lose quality. But I mean, this just sounds petty. Just like when you read all the stuff and you're like, it is just the news. Like, come on, guys, get it together.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I read it, I was like, Team Lisa. I thought she got kicked out for the wrong reasons, and they weren't expecting her to have much, of a fanfare or fan following or a following altogether. And I don't know. I trust news from old people more than I do young people. That's just me. I
Did
need
you
the
watch
person telling me the
CTV and
news.
Lisa LaFlemme's-
Never.
I did.
I never did.
I did.
I
No,
don't
but
watch
if it
news
was on, like I
generally.
recognize her, it was not like Mansbridge in the National. That's a bit different. But Lloyd Robertson used to be on CTV before, right? Like when we were kids, it was Lloyd Robertson.
Yeah.
And then who was the guy on Peter Jennings? Is that right? On Global?
No, but Peter Jennings is the guy who won fucking Jeopardy.
No, that's Ken Jennings.
Oh,
It's Peter something. There was another broadcaster on Global. Those were always the three big guys, right? And
Global
then
one, yeah.
Gord
Okay.
from CTV. Remember Gord?
Yeah.
Gord Monroe. What I forgot his name.
The
He was on there
deep
for like 40
Yeah,
years. That guy. But yeah, with Lloyd and these guys, but when Lisa took over, I did know it was her. I mean, who pays attention after the advent of our smartphone or news to the nightly news? I mean, I think we all don't do that, but for a certain percentage of the population, they were loyal watchers, just like the National and CBC. A lot of people still watch that on a daily basis.
That was
Right,
actually raised
so-
a good point. Growing up, I didn't opt to watch the National, but if I wanted to hang out past my bedtime, my dad was watching the National, so I had to sit and
There you
watch the
go.
National with him. Our
Yeah.
kids really aren't going to have that, are they?
Yeah, it
No.
depends on. I mean, forget the kids. How many people in our friends group, they probably can't even listen to this podcast because they don't know what current events are. I mean, a lot of people are just so. I mean, they are inundated, but they're so down the rabbit hole with social media that they're not reading anything else, right? They're not seeing news or politics or, I mean, I think we all three of us take a semi-active interest, maybe from Twitter or, reading the news like I do, or Shinda's non-ending Globe and Mail subscription that he doesn't use. But I think that trend is on a downturn for my kids. I do hope they read, even on apps like Apple News is great. I hope, but who knows, right? I think the instantaneous nature of social media kind of
Maybe
takes away.
campaigning for mom will get them the bug to like follow current affairs.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
honestly,
think so.
sometimes I fear that if I didn't have this podcast, I would be so out of the loop of grown-up talk. And I say that
really
because
Don't you have like a group where you just can have that? I mean,
No.
you guys, we do it here, but
I do
like,
have groups where we do talk about politics, generally politic-heavy groups, but they're politic-heavy groups and they're very bubblish. So my conservative groups are very conservative, and I try to be the anti-conservative voice in those. The liberal voice or the conservative voice in the liberal groups. The liberal groups kind of suck. They kind of kicked me out because I was able to beat them so easy. They kind of just
Well,
disbanded.
so you just go in to start a fight, basically.
I go in to talk. I want to see if someone says something. I want to know what the other side is. So let me poke it until, if you can explain the other side of this thing, maybe I'll take your side. If not, I don't know if I want to adopt your opinion. It's more,
I
I'm
mean,
just making sure I'm
yeah, WhatsApp
vetting.
groups. That's a good point. I mean, I don't use that really for. I mean, I don't know how your work environments are now. I still have like different staff in different places where we go, so I tend to have certain conversations with those staff. Maybe that's not as prevalent as it used to be, but like, there's one guy I will only talk about Toronto politics with, or there's another guy we talk about world affairs, but it's this common ongoing conversation. No, viewpoints aside, but it's just there are certain people that I like to talk to, but not so much on the WhatsApp, man, because it, like you said, it just turned into a opinion based or an argument, or someone gets unhappy, and it's weird.
And this
I mean,
no
do
longer
you
invites
guys
you to,
talk? Do you guys talk to people at work in that
not
kind
about
of way, or is
politics.
it, or is it just, straight work?
No,
Straight
I
work
talk
for
about
me.
politics.
Yeah.
For not for me. Like I work in a very
Oh no, you had
conservative.
your well, you
Yeah,
had your
yeah,
friend
yeah,
come on as well, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean, at work, when I used to
that's
bring
the
up
world I see.
politics, people would roll their eyes like, oh, you're one of those people who thinks this is serious. And I'm like,
What's crazy though is when someone says something at work, I can't say nothing. Like a patient, I just stay quiet and I just keep doing my work. I'm like, because you're not supposed to,
Right.
man. But I'm so tempted. I'm like, yeah, we should bring you on the podcast.
let's
you
have
know?
you as dumbass of the week.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
So
if it wasn't for
it is.
this podcast, I would be totally devout of adult conversations.
So
I
we're
don't know.
not going
About,
to talk about House of Dragons.
oh no, fuck that. Let's go for full
Let's
nerd
go.
mode.
Let's go.
I want to go full
There
nerd
you go.
mode. All right. This is the
Glasses
point
on,
of the
guys.
podcast. This is a point in the podcast where we're about to talk about the latest episode of
First episode.
First
House of
episode of Game of
Dragons.
Thrones called House of Dragons.
House of
Isn't
Dragons.
they're not going by the Game of Thrones moniker no more, are they? It's just House of
They
Dragons.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Fuck
So
off.
if you haven't watched it, this is where you should pause the episode. Not message me the next day saying, I can't believe you talked about that. This is where we've said everything we wanted to, and now we're gonna
Full
go full on
disclosure,
spoilers.
I haven't watched it either, and I'm still here. So
Yeah, full disclosure, there's
it's
really not
okay.
that many spoilers here because it's the first episode. They're just introducing character names. Anyways, boys, Ranji, boys, fuck Robbie. He's not in this conversation.
Fuck you
Um,
too.
All right, hooked. I saw dragons. It was like sick. But
Scene one, right off the bat, I saw a dragon and I'm like, I'm in. Let's go.
But then they really didn't like bring them up too much. I felt like they like themes. I'm gonna talk about themes for the episode before I get into any analysis, which I didn't
The
really
hell?
give.
This is
To be
really
honest,
going in depth. I thought you guys would just say you liked it or you didn't.
there's a lot of
Theme.
like they're playing on the nostalgia of Game of Thrones.
Hidden
Those-
Easter eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Little nuggets. Like they'll mention Starks. There'll be some guy from Winterfell randomly there. All these great houses. What was it the Dornish people, the fucking Valerians, all these like little nuggets to like really like the Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones, but it's not. It's definitely not. Not right now. I mean, Night City, the city guard. They talk about that, the advent of that. They really play up to those emotions to really excite the viewer and to make them think that this is going to have some sort of interconnectedness to Game of Thrones. But the story itself so far, yeah, they're just introducing characters. There's a weird uncle niece relationship I sensed. But yeah, there seems to be a power struggle afoot, and like that's what we're introduced to. So shouldn't I take it away?
My favorite part was when, so obviously this takes place 200 years before Game of Thrones. That's 4 generations before Game of Thrones happens. A cool little Easter egg that comes up was when the current king was passing on some family secret, and he's like,
Yes.
there was this dream called The Story of Ice and Fire, or Fire and Ice, whatever.
Right.
And
One or the other.
and he's like, there's gonna come a time when the entire realm will be threatened by from the north, or from like monsters and stuff. And this guy had a dream, and it might not happen during your lifetime, but this is the one secret you need to know, that when this
And
happens, you need to unite. And the prophecy is that someone from our family is going to fight.
a
And
Targaryen has to be on the throne if we're gonna win. Yeah.
yeah, so it's our role as Targaryens to make sure we're in power. So and that was the only like, cool. Yeah, I know what's going to happen now because I saw the future. Um, After that, it was very much standalone. The production quality was very much Game of Thrones season 3,
Mm.
right? The production quality was on point. The writing was on point. Um, I feel like this is the Game of Thrones redemption arc. HBO knows they fucked up the last season of Game of Thrones, and they said, "Look, we're gonna make this one right. This is gonna be the one that rewrites that failure." So I'm in. They didn't go too into the dragons because their assumption is people accepted that dragons exist. Everyone had this family owns the dragons. Is this is gonna be more about the family's interpolitics? The show,
Yeah,
not so
didn't they
much.
say there's 10 adult dragons? I only saw 2.
Yeah, because they're around. They're not just They only showed like the two characters' dragons, and some people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't ride dragons all that much." And she's like, "I love riding my dragon." Like, yeah, whatever. Dragons are cool, but it's an
Is
accepted
this
part of the universe.
this is a prequel, right?
Prequel, 200 years before Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's done. I can't watch it.
That's
What?
why can't
Who cares? All these nuggets you're talking about, it's the way that last season ended. Doesn't matter.
See,
It's
I feel
horrible.
like the fights and the standalone drama is going to be enough to just have this be independent enough while
Is it a
existing in
one
that
off?
realm.
Okay, is it a one off season? I'm okay with that. Kind of like what they've done with
Star Wars?
the Star Wars kind of, the one season, little bit of a story, fine. But if they're making this like a 10 season, prequel, you kind of know what's going to happen. Right? No?
Right, but there's so much mystery around the Targaryens and how they came to be such a, like, at least from what we saw, a broken house
It
on the
would
run.
it, it would have been for me, I thought it was going to be like the first Targaryen, the first dragon, and how they came to power and how they took control. Like that would have been a cool story. Like, 200 years, you kind of know what's going to happen. I don't know, man. And for me, it's not as enticing, if you will, or I have to give it a chance and watch it possibly and
Like,
maybe
I don't
change
think
my
they
mind.
ever bring up characters that we know. They'll
No,
drop
like you guys
names that
just
we heard
no,
about.
you guys just talked about like the nuggets and the story arc about
Yeah,
something's gonna
yeah,
happen from the north. I mean
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
No, but
Like
like
if they keep alluding to this the
the
first season,
future.
then I don't care. But if it's a completely
No,
separate
no.
story,
I think
then
that
I'm
was more of
in.
a that was just kind of like a haha, this is still Game of Thrones. But like how much of that I don't think any of that actually plays into the show's plot. The show's plot's really gonna be the Targaryen household trying to manage power and the family's own power dynamic. Uh
So would you say it was on par with the Skywalker series?
Not the production, no. But
Nostalgia, storyline.
nostalgia wise, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know, I'm sold.
That's
They had a great looking dragon. They showed what type of beef they're gonna have. We've been introduced to the two sides and of their
There's some
conflict.
crenchy
Three
relationships.
sides.
There's a
Yeah,
Chacha
some,
PG,
there's no
like
they love
there's
their
a
incest.
weird like sexual tension between a Chacha Patiji, who's I think a minor in the
yeah.
show. So
Or I don't know. That was kind of weird. I picked up on the same
it
thing.
was
Like,
a weird
wow,
thing,
are we
right?
really
A
getting
weird-
incest? And my
yeah.
I brought that up. My wife's like, it's not incest. I'm like, oh no, man. They haven't done anything yet, but there's some weird energy being displayed right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised because it's Game of Thrones.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Game because it is Game of Thrones. You're right.
Yeah.
It's like two brothers not being happy with each other. One the older brother versus younger brother dynamic.
Sounds
Every
like
Punjabi family.
Punjabi
Uh,
Dutt family over Jameen.
yeah, no, 100% because it goes back like the
Some guy who's dying to have a son,
There we go.
you know,
Gonna write a better
lineage,
story.
the kid, yeah.
yeah.
Gotta
No, I
gotta
think
check who the writers are. I bet you there's a Punjabi in there somewhere.
I think the show's gonna stand up on its own.
It's like
I feel like HBO really is batting, hoping for a knockout with this, just so people get that taste.
Doesn't HBO need it? Like HBO Max is kind of
It's done. They
it's
canceled it.
done, right? Yeah, like that's done. So they need a big win, right?
I
I
think
mean,
this
honestly,
is
Disney Plus and Fox coming together, that's a hard combo to beat, man. I don't know.
for production. Hey, look, man. Episode 1 has got me enough to want to watch episode 2.
They're
So, anyways, man,
Anyways,
I think it's a good show. Talking about before we end off, I don't know if you guys saw this. Scotty Barnes and our boy Bix, they were at a pro am together.
yes.
So pro am is professional players play with amateur players. They're kind of like exhibitions. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I've came to the conclusion that I'm 1 degree separated from the NBA now.
It was who organized it? That Ball Don't Stop or Ball Don't Lie or what's his name? He does a podcast, right? Is that Punjabi kid from the States? He organized it.
No.
Yeah, isn't he? That was his pro-am. His
No.
podcast was on the jerseys.
Was it? I don't
Yeah,
know. That.
yeah. He was on his Twitter. It's organizing in Toronto. Blah blah blah.
All
I
right,
don't
you know more
know.
about.
I know Game 6 was up in there too.
Yeah, I
but
know Game 6 was. I know Zor basketball
Zor
was
was
there.
yeah.
What's that kid's name?
Manny
The guy who does
Sota?
no the guy who
Zor
does
basketball?
the
Ball Don't
podcast where he
Stop.
gets the yeah.
I mean,
He
clearly
says
he's
I'm
bigger
the
than us that he could pull
I
out
know,
this
yeah.
kind of thing, right?
Right?
Imagine
But
the Much Ado About
What?
Nothing pro am.
He did say he goes, I did this wearing a turban. It doesn't look like a turban to me. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he goes very much. I don't know.
It's
what
not
to call
turban,
it,
right?
man.
I'm just saying.
No,
Yeah.
and his basketball takes are really shit. So
Are they? I thought they're pretty good.
No,
No,
I'm wishing on that.
he's mememed so hard in every single
I know,
basketball group I know.
I felt a little guilty after that turban talk, so I was just trying to big him up there. That's
No, no, I mean I don't know the guy. I've only seen his
But
Twitter
if
stuff.
he
I've
did
never seen-
if he did do it, like kudos
that's a
to you,
big
man.
W. Yeah,
Yeah,
if he
yeah.
was able to pull this off and do a pro am, fucking A.
more than we can do.
More than
So, yeah.
more influence than I have in life.
I'll
We're
give
just
I'll
we're just
give
trying to be
Bix
school
I'll give
trustee,
Bix
man.
go to the week for that.
Yeah, go to the week. I'm gonna definitely try to get a picture with him that I can use on my social media accounts and on my. I'm gonna just do a video with him. Like, hey, Bix, pass the ball. Bronze.
Get him here. Let's get him on
Power
this.
ball. No, I think that ship has sailed. I think a month back we could have got him on this and he'd be cool. Now he's he's like up here and we're still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
The end
man,
of the podcast.
Well, wait till we all get elected.
once we all become elected. Once we make it, right?
Dick.
All right, boys. And on that
Alright.
note, if you have anyone living in our ridings, be sure to have them cast their votes for us. Because, hold on, if this podcast made any money, does this count as a political advert that would have to go on our friggin' financial account?
Not
I
really.
don't know.
If someone publicly endorses on social media, that doesn't mean anything. And are we even making money? I think we're losing money, aren't we?
Yeah, we're losing money in time and sleep.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, if you know anyone in our writings, we're going to come up with more information as we come along. I think we should be very quiet early on and just go for the knockout the week before.
I'm looking at Rocky. He can do it.
We're going round 5 knockout. Let's go. All right,
Let's
boys.
do it.
On that
All
note,
right.
thank you for listening. Late podcast, but it was a podcast.
Peace.
Till then,
Peace.
peace.